welcome back to Film versus Film. My name is Quinn Boys. I have had all my grape drink, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host. He's too old for a babysitter, but he wants one anyway. LSD Jr. LSD, what's up, man?
Oh, man. Is this not... You got one more of those, huh?
What's up, L?
One more time messing up my name. One more time.
Did I get it wrong?
That's not my name. My name is Leonard
sorry.
Smith Jr.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
I have done LSD. Not enough.
Not enough?
Yeah, I think one regret
is not
in
doing
my life
LSD
is
more.
I didn't do enough LSD.
Your life's not over.
It's not over. You know what? It might be a good time to start.
I've never done LSD.
You've never done LSD.
And I don't regret not having done it yet. Although now this is making me feel like I should do it.
I don't know. I feel like we should talk about our guest who's here today.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you see her live, it kind of feels like an LSD trip experience. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna see crazy things. You're gonna hear some great, talented cover songs if you go to a certain show, which she is extremely talented at because she's an improviser. She's a stand-up comic. She's known as Possum Girl on Instagram. Give it up for Elyza Halpern.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Of course, I'm so excited to be here. Both of these movies were a little bit like an LSD trip, so even though I haven't done it, I feel like I got the experience.
Yes,
okay, yeah.
They were
kind of trippy. They
Very
both had
trippy
sort of
movies.
heightened. So what we're talking about, a topic that we've like offered to people a lot, but nobody had bit at, which is totally fine. We want our guests to pick the topic that they want to talk about, but I was really glad that we landed on this one. Best Netflix movies. And I'm glad we're talking best Netflix movies because I have, and maybe I'll save it for like a little bit from now, but I have like a very specific idea of what a Netflix movie is.
Okay.
Actually, no, I'll just do it now.
Do it now.
I think Netflix movies are kind of bad. Or rather, I think a Netflix movie has the same connotation as like a made-for-TV movie or something. If you put something in front of movie, other than just movie, like that's a great movie. But if you say that's a great made-for-TV movie, I'm like, okay, my bar is lowered. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas someone says that's a great movie, no holds barred, no qualifiers, that's great. Netflix movie, it's not the same as a Hallmark movie. I think they're better. Yes. But I do think it has the same signifier as when you say I'm watching a Hallmark movie, you're like, I think I know the kind of movie you're talking about. And I think Netflix movies span many genres and span, a lot of different like runtimes, like independent to high budget, whatever. But they do, the right ones I feel like have a certain kind of flavor that you're like, this is a Netflix movie. And I'm interested in maybe using this episode to define that. Because I feel like I can feel it, but maybe I can't articulate it.
Okay.
Did you have an opinion on what a Netflix movie is, Leonard?
I kind of had the same feelings in the regards of it's a movie I'm watching at home.
Okay, yeah.
It's a movie
by default.
I'm watching at home. So it's like, it's not the same experience. Like you said, this was an interesting prompt because it's such an expanse. There are so many options that we could pick. But you know what? I've never seen The Irishman because I don't want to sit in my couch for 3 hours watching The Irishman. I'm going to be distracted by my phone.
Yeah.
I know I can get up and go make food.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a movie that I want to watch. I know it's good.
You can cook Thanksgiving dinner during The Irishman, and you're not going to...
Exactly.
It's not going to run out by the time that the turkey's done.
I think it's a 90-minute runtime.
Uh-huh.
A 90-minute runtime with a very interesting hook, and don't dilute it. Just like give me the, let me see the first, second, and third act very distinctly.
Yeah.
And I don't think it should be big budget either. It should. Sometimes they have like, what's that Ryan Reynolds one where he's like an assassin?
Red Notice.
That actually was good. I watched that like 3 or 4 years ago.
Or are you talking about The Hitman's Bodyguard?
That actually was good too. Was that a Netflix movie? That was
I don't know.
Hitman's Bodyguard. Was
there
not
are
a Netflix
also
movie.
we should qualify this. These are movies that Netflix
made.
They have the Netflix stamp on them.
Yes.
These are not like Forrest Gump is on Netflix this month. These are Netflix movies that are.
Elyza, what did you think when you gave us Netflix?
Yeah, or just what do you think of Netflix movies in general?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree that Netflix movies have their own certain like je ne sais quoi. It reminds me of, so I'm 29 years old, so my childhood memories are filled with going to Hollywood Video on a Friday night or Blockbuster and renting something that I've never seen before and didn't know existed, and I'm not sure how it exists, like a movie with some kind of bolded font title that says like the dog came alive and killed Aunt Sally and then ran for president. And you're going to go home and you're going to watch that, and it's going to live in the recesses of your mind for the next 15 years. And I feel like Netflix is serving that purpose for a new generation with these Netflix movies.
It's funny that Netflix reminds you of a video store because Netflix violently killed the video store.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. My video store at home when I was a kid growing up, we'd go to, it was just called Video. It's just video twice, just so you don't misunderstand what this is.
The amount of, what is it, 4 for $20 Blockbuster videos I have still in my possession is disturbing. And it's honestly disturbing to me as a person who is like a nomad and moves around a bunch, like state to state. But it's not a crazy amount, but it's like, why do I still have like 30 DVDs?
That's our slight difference in age talking, and I'm a little bit older than you. Elyza Leonard's a little bit older than me. But how much it costs to rent a video, my daddy takes care of that. Okay? My dad would take my brother and I to the video store. I'd pick one, he'd pick one, and we'd be like, here you go, Dad, and he'd rent that out. I have no idea what that cost.
Wow.
$20 for 4 videos?
Yeah, this is like
Seems like
this is like when Blockbuster was going out of business type thing. It was like 2005.
Oh, you could buy them for that. You don't have to bring them back.
No, yes, I was buying them.
Gotcha.
Yes, and I still have all of them. But
good for you.
You know, I wouldn't have Idiocracy right now.
You know, when the end times happen, you're going to be one of the only ones with physical media, and you'll be able to rent that out.
Yeah.
My PS5 won't play it because there won't be any Wi-Fi. But no.
Just one of those old plug-in movie players that you'd get on planes.
I honestly need to just keep one of those. I need to buy one of those just in case.
What?
I mean, honestly, if the world comes to an end, but if the world comes to an end, I'll probably just kill myself. So, anyways, let's just talk about
on that note
these movies. Let's talk about our choices. I did not know what you were going to choose.
I did not know what I was going to choose.
Did you have anything in mind, Elyza? When did you were like, oh, they're
you expected we might give you,
or I would choose
for Netflix movies? Yeah, I mean, I guess Netflix movies. I kind of expected the genre that we went into, like a lot of like horror or like sci-fi. Thriller, but a little campy. I know one of the first movies where I was like, this is a Netflix film was actually a rom-com, which was To All the Boys I've Loved Before, which is based on a very popular book, but that is a movie that kind of like blew up on Netflix, probably wouldn't have gotten in theaters. And it was like very much like, this is for tweens and adults that want to revisit their tween years.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that kind of came to mind for me, like genre films that might not necessarily get into the mainstream theaters now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like Bright.
And how?
Like, I forgot about Bright. I think I blocked it out. Yeah. You're absolutely right. That is like number one.
God awful.
I looked up like a bunch of, as I sometimes do, and I don't necessarily know what my pick will be once we get the prompt. I like looked up like top Netflix movies just to see if it jarred anything or if I would find anything and be like, oh yeah, this one. Also, sometimes to remind myself, like, is this a Netflix movie or is it a movie that Netflix
100%,
like, made?
Yes,
You know?
100%.
My movie was not on any of these lists.
I was very surprised.
Which is fine, but I wasn't deterred by that. But how boring would this? And they're good movies. I'm not putting them down. How boring would this conversation be if this was like The Irishman
versus Mank
or something? You know what I mean? It's like, yes, those are Netflix movies. Yes, Netflix games. But I'm kind of glad that we picked like more genre-y movies because I feel like those are the movies that feel more like Netflix movies than the ones that they
Yeah, I was going to speak on that earlier and I forgot. When we got this prompt...
This might be the latest we've ever been without announcing the films, but keep going.
We got this prompt and I was like, this is really going to tell who we are as like viewers. Because it was like, there were so many options. So it was basically just like, pick what movie you really like that Netflix has made. And
I don't watch all of them either. So
I don't watch
I have a big blind spot. I haven't seen
Mank.
I haven't seen All the Boys I've Loved before.
Watch it.
I haven't seen Mank.
So
Mank and To All the Boys I Love Before. I'm going to watch them both tonight.
I watched the first half of The Irishman, fell asleep, woke up when they were killing Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, spoiler.
Spoiler for history.
For history.
Did you have
could break that up into
before Babysitter?
No. I don't.
Okay.
Well,
I wrestled with a few.
I could have gone with a couple other ones, but once I thought of, which I guess I'll talk about my movie first, The Babysitter, it was like locked in because I was just like, this is the Netflix kind of movie that I like, and I've been like looking for that kind of movie. And again, I guess I'm like leading into my final argument here early, but it's like with the Netflix movie, I was like trying to shoot the middle because something like that got Oscar nominations or that seemed too self-important, that also probably had, like in the case of The Irishman, like a token theatrical release to go along with it, where they try to, Netflix is like, we think it's a real movie, we put it in theaters, but they don't, you know.
Yeah.
Those felt like it's a totally fair movie to pick. I wouldn't have, like, if you'd picked one, I wouldn't have said that doesn't count. Yeah. But I was like, that doesn't feel much like it. That feels, The Irishman feels like a Martin Scorsese movie, and it's a Martin Scorsese movie for Netflix, but I'm quibbling. So I picked The Babysitter, which is a 2017 comedy thriller. It's not really a horror.
You should have. I know. I was like, you could have picked this for the episode we did.
I probably could have, but I was happy to go down swinging with Shaun of the Dead. I think I was robbed, but I picked The Babysitter because I saw it, as I think a lot of fun Netflix finds are, with no expectations of it. I was at my friend's place. I was living out here. I was at his apartment in West Hollywood. We were like hanging out before we went out for the evening or whatever. And he's like, oh, I heard about this movie McG directed. I don't know if you're familiar with McG's filmography, but he directed the Charlie's Angels movies from the early 2000s. Oh. He directed, I think, that Terminator Salvation movie. He's got a spotty director, but he's made like Hollywood films and films that were box office successes in the Charlie's Angels case. And I was like, McG, that's kind of okay. You know, I like, that didn't get me interested in it, but I was like, I know that name. I had no idea who Samara Weaving was at the time, who plays the titular babysitter. But I think I'd seen the trailer, which was just sort of like, babysitter is a killer, kid has to survive. And that's the other thing of Netflix, or like what you're talking about, the dog that ran for president and then it killed the, like, it is sort of like, the title doesn't give it to you, but the hook, the elevator pitch is like, what if your babysitter is a murderer and now you found out because you stayed up and now she's going to have to kill you or something, you know? And it seemed to have like the right tone. And so we watched it and just, I had like a wonderful time. I was just like, this movie is not serious. It is not deep. It is not even that original. But there is something about its execution that I really found pleasant. And I found it was like really well, like I love Samara Weaving in it. I think the other murderers are all funny and kind of well cast.
King Botch.
Yeah, that's who that is. Yeah. I forgot that he was a big, and perhaps
Botch, I don't know.
Well, but I remember him from Vine at the time.
Yeah, Vine.
Yeah, and perhaps and yeah, now and it, like he actually, I remembered him as somewhat annoying, but rewatching it for this, I was like, he actually has some very funny lines.
Yeah, he is a little annoying, but I think he's supposed to be.
He goes, they give him like a little bit more, like it's like sometimes you watch a movie that, I don't know if this was improv or all scripted, but you're like, they let that guy go a little too long.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of that, but
it
he
felt
also
improvised.
does.
Some of those felt improvised for sure.
It's a lot of Vine energy, maybe, but
and Bella Thorne as well.
Bella Thorne as well, yeah.
Is that the cheerleader?
The cheerleader.
Yes. Who's Bella Thorne?
Bella Thorne is like the branching scenarios where you could be Zendaya or Bella Thorne. They were both on like a Disney Channel show, and like and Zendaya became Zendaya, and Bella Thorne is doing fine.
What Disney Channel show was Zendaya on?
I would be a pervert if I remember. My sister watched Disney Channel at the time. I don't remember. They were on a show together.
Like I said, I'm the oldest one here. I don't know. I know, and I hate celebrities. So
we could look it up.
I think it might have been Shake It. No, Bella Thorne was on Shake It Up.
They were both on the same show.
They were both on Shake It Up. Oh yes, Shake It Up.
Yeah, my sister is 10 years younger than me and would watch Disney Channel. I remember watching a lot of like Wizards of Waverly Place. She wasn't as big into Shake It Up, which is the name of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was a cynical child. I hated Disney as a child.
Well, you shouldn't have been watching it in 2010 anyway.
Oh, it was 2010.
That's what I'm saying. It was my sister's Disney Channel era, not my own.
Yeah.
But so it's a classic boy, prepubescent boy, loves his hot babysitter, finds out she is a satanic cultist killer. And has to face his fears while defending himself over the course of the night. I had a great time with it.
How did you?
Had either of you seen it before?
I had not seen it.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't think so, but
had not seen it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought that, it wasn't scary, but it was consistently ridiculous in a way that I would expect from a movie with Bella Thorne and King Botch.
Yes.
As two of the lead characters.
Yeah.
I also thought that the dad in the movie who makes the child drive at the beginning was giving me open mic comedian energy.
Oh yeah,
And so that set the tone.
That's,
that's
Ken something.
he's like a Costco version Rob Riggle. He's like
Costco Rob Riggle. How dare you? He actually has some funny.
he's in a lot of shit.
He's very he gives good dad in this. Ken Marino.
Ken Marino.
Leslie Bibb plays the mom.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, Ken Marino was teaching your 12-year-old to drive and being like, it's okay, sport, don't be scared. It's like, I'm 12, Dad. Come back to me in 3 years. I'll still be too young for this, but like it does feel a bit early.
This kid is so parentified throughout this film, and then he ends up basically having to, be the like savior of his entire neighborhood, and then he gets charged with vehicular manslaughter at the end, and that's how he's thanked. I guess I want to know what happened to him at the end.
He's beating that case.
He's beating
for
the
sure.
He kills,
she fucking killed all these people.
Yeah.
I'd say he kills 3 of the 5. King Botch dies due to... Oh, no.
that
King
was a-
Botch kills Bella...
Well, that was a manslaughter as well.
There's a couple manslaughters, a couple straight up
he
murders.
didn't kill him. He tripped on the race car. He did not push him. He just tripped.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, good point.
The only person he killed was Shorty in the crawl space.
Yeah.
Which was
with the firecracker.
insane.
Yeah.
I was like, that rocket for a long time. Listen, this movie felt like, I'm older, it felt like a 90s blockbuster movie.
That was the other
100%.
thing. It felt like a kind of a
It was like Serial Mom mixed with like Home Alone.
Yeah, a little bit.
It was crazy. I don't know if y'all seen Serial Mom.
I have not.
Oh my God. Serial Mom.
Serial or cereal
No,
like for breakfast?
Serial Mom with, it's a 1994 movie starring Kathleen Turner. It's a John Waters directed movie.
Oh God.
He plays Ted Bundy in the movie, but he's not even, I don't know if he's a killer. But it's like about a mom who like, it's literally like a Karen who kills people who gets mad at her. That she gets annoyed by, she kills them. She'll like go to that, like she like saw like one of her daughter's friends being like promiscuous, so she like goes and kills her, and then like somebody cuts her off at the like grocery store and she like kills him. It's like it's a wild, and she kills him in like the most crazy ways. It like felt like that movie to me. It was just a ridiculous movie. It is literally felt like escapism. Like it was just like, okay, I don't have to worry about plot holes.
Yeah, like no matter the most dangerous firework you could buy, if it gets set off,
I was like, this is taking a long time,
and it's like it wouldn't burn someone alive like that was. But in this movie, you don't care.
Yeah, you don't care.
Oh,
like,
he sprayed her with something?
He sprayed her with the roach, like this bug spray.
Oh, right. He sprayed
but it
her
wasn't,
in the
listen,
eyes.
as a person who was a pyro as a child, that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I kept expecting him to like leak the gas. I did like where it felt like they were like giving us little hints or leading us on, and then I was like, actually, no. Like the whole knife and the thing.
They plant and pay off pretty well.
Yeah,
and the main character, the kid, whose name I don't even remember,
Cole.
Cole. Oh, right. That's the other, because this movie is kind of it's kind of like broad in tone. It's kind of outlandish. I love his bully, the black kid with the bandana.
I'm also happy he didn't die.
Who's just like doing like breakdance moves to himself while he's egging his house and stuff. This kid should be bullying no one. This kid should be bullied.
He's getting bullied by the lamest bullies.
Which is maybe a tell. Or like how he'll just like raise his arms up like he's LeBron to the crowd in Cleveland or whatever, but he's doing nothing of it. I like the weird kind of touches that this movie has, I guess.
Yeah, it felt like there are moments where it was just like, this is just a vehicle for me to like say a few thoughts that I have. Like, stand up for yourself, and like
that's pretty much the only message of it. Like, this kid needs to grow up. But yeah, I appreciate that I could expose both of you to this movie.
Yeah.
But
I had not seen this movie.
Yeah.
I wonder if either one had you seen my movie.
I had not.
I
not.
had a feeling, which is kind of why I chose this. I wrestled with a few choices.
Yeah.
Which was Don't Look Up. You know me. Come on, baby. You hate that movie, right?
I don't like it.
You hate that movie.
I hate comedies that are over, most that are over like an hour 45. That comedy, that's like 2 hours plus. Give me a break.
So, anyways, But
And it's not that funny.
yeah, it's pretty depressing, which is why I'm like, oh, this feels real. This is why I love it. Have you seen Don't Look Up?
Oh, I have seen Don't Look Up. I feel like it's a movie I may not have liked pre-2016, post-2016. I think it's great, but it is not funny. It's not a comedy.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think it's a comedy. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
It's like, it might have been my choice. And then my other one was The Harder They Fall, which is the Black Western.
Which we've talked about. Although it was a bonus episode.
Oh,
Do you remember that? We talked about that one.
We did?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I think I said, I remember one of the takeaways being, back before everything, that I really liked Jonathan Majors after seeing that movie, which you would have had to reckon with if you chose it now. But anyway.
Anyways.
Black Western.
Black Western.
Yeah.
But I chose with another black film, which I found out is co-written by a white man. Yeah.
Maybe he's like one of the white men in the movie where he's got a fro and he's like acting like
he's a genetically engineered screenwriter.
Yeah.
I met him. He's telling me. Anyways, my movie is the 20. Jesus Christ, I'm really embarrassed right now. Okay,
Can't remember the year. You don't need the year.
Well, the 2023. It just came out. Director Jewel Taylor. It's written by Jewel Taylor and Tony Radnheimer. I met Tony this weekend, which was interesting. I was like, holy shit! I literally met him this weekend.
Shout out to Tony.
Yeah. We might have him on the pod. I told him about the pod. How we picked it. And he's like, oh yeah, maybe me and Jewel can come on. I was like, okay, we never done a 2-person episode. Anyways, so this movie came out in 2023. I think it maybe took some time for it to get released because of the pandemic. Like it may have gotten released a little earlier. John Coulier, Jamie Foxx. Come on.
Do you mean John Boyega?
John Boyega.
They cloned Tyrone. Are you forgetting the name of it?
Yeah. Tony Paris. Anyways, I was moving a couple of days ago. I watched it after the election results, and I was depressed.
We're all operating on that.
I probably should have watched The Babysitter.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need to watch a movie that I just want to rewatch my movie just to remember everything. And I can't go into The Babysitter in the mindset that I am now.
Yeah.
But going in, watching They Clone Tyrone may have not also been the best decision.
Yeah. Like, that's Project 2025.
It's literally
That's
Project.
the end result.
Yeah, literally just watching it. But it's about a movie about a man living in Glen Fontaine. He's a dope boy, and he's owed some money from a pimp. He's got ops. He's got rivals. He gets killed. Comes to find out that he is fucking cloned, and him and this pimp and this prostitute all work together and try to uncover the truth. And they eventually do and see that the white man is controlling this entire neighborhood for experimental purposes. There is drugs and substances and chemicals in their hair products, their drinks, their food.
Yeah,
the chicken, the grape drink, the music. Everything is a mind control to control the masses, and they try to take down the system. And it's a story. It's a weird sci-fi, almost a little, just maybe the Rick character, or what's the pimp? I can't think of his name. I think it's Rick.
Slick. They call him Slick, but he's also Slick. Can tell you.
Slick. But
this
it
is
feels
not
like
a we remember the names.
It is a hint of like black exploitation.
Is it Slick Charles?
Slick Charles. It is. That's it. And Yo-Yo, it's an interesting. I love sci-fi movies, so it's nice to see like a black sci-fi movie, which also still I feel like we've talked about this before on the pod, like with black movies sometimes, especially in the past, it's like if you were able to make a movie, you had to have a message as well in the movie, an overlying message, and this one feels like an ode to like Undercover Brother and like sillier movies. There is some comedic elements to the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know if I would call it a comedy. It kind of is a comedy.
I'm interested because this is a tougher one to place. But yeah, this is a dark comedy, satire, mystery, sci-fi, thriller are all tags
comedy.
that IMDb gives it.
Sci-fi comedy. And this was as a person who is a cynic, a skeptic, a big conspiracy theorist, and I wouldn't even.
You think this is possible?
I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say a conspiracy theorist. I would say a fucking historian. Someone.
It's funny.
You heard that term, the quickest way to sound crazy is say one thing the CIA has admitted to doing in the last 30 years.
I've never heard that, but that is 100% true. Yeah, I don't know.
Forget the stand-up who had that line where he's like, you shouldn't believe in all conspiracy theories because you're crazy, but to believe that everything is the government's. I forget the comic that I should be quoting.
George Carlin?
Well, he goes, you just think the government's batting 1,000? Like, you just think everything that they say is the official version of the thing?
I think Ron Funches has a bit kind of like that.
That might be his then,
Ron
which is
Funches
just a
is
funny
so
way of
good.
looking at it. It's
He's
like,
very
of course that's not the case. One of these things must be true. Maybe not the way that we think it is, but
Yeah.
I did not realize how funny Ron Funches
some healthy cynicism
So
is skepticism
Yeah,
and cynicism.
Yeah.
But there's a version of this, like you're really talking about like sci-fi. I felt like there was a couple elements in this movie that it didn't feel like a Jordan Peele movie, but it felt influenced by the Jordan Peele effect, like the post Get Out effect. One is like white people controlling or like coveting like black culture or trying to, and then even like the underground under the town where like they have a bunch of other U's like that they keep refrigerated. It felt a little bit like Us. I don't know. There was like some like Jordan Peele like high-minded like
I can see
talk
that.
about the black experience, but in a kind of like pop culture way, like in something sci-fi or
I think
horror.
maybe like now that he's become so popular that he kind of like is tied to that. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, it's just a black sci-fi movie.
No, totally. Yeah. I didn't feel like they were aping Jordan Peele, but I felt like a couple of similar themes.
Yeah.
What did you think of this movie, Elyza, having seen it for the first time as well?
I mean, I thought I really enjoyed it, and at the same time, there were elements of it that felt too real given things going on in the world, and again, like things that have actually happened and everything that's could be happening now given this government we have. But I thought it definitely was a satire with funny moments, but not like a comedy necessarily.
Jamie Foxx gets a lot of laughs in this movie.
Jamie Foxx is great.
I haven't enjoyed him in something this much in a while.
I love that Jamie Foxx will just do movies, like genre movies sometimes.
Yeah.
When he shows up in a movie, it kind of feels like when a superhero shows up in Marvel. It's like, oh, they have Thor in this.
Oh,
he's here.
It just made me think, he must have signed a deal with Netflix. That movie Daywalkers or whatever.
Right.
That vampire killing with Snoop Dogg.
Right.
That movie's actually really good.
Is it? I never
Foxx
gave it the time.
But I felt like I felt like the acting in this was
it's hard
really
to play
good.
a pimp and not be too caricature-y.
Yeah.
But like he's definitely doing a lot of pimp stuff, but like
the
he
thing
feels like a
is,
believable character.
He also is a caricature. Like they cloned
That's
a caricature.
true.
Like
That's
that's
true.
literally what he is, which is crazy. And I love the acting in this movie because like the way when they go back to the motel, and it's after they've discovered the underground layer and how big it is, and then like John Kaluuya Fontaine is like John Boyega. Fuck. I'm so bad with celebrity names. White, black.
I'm just glad to see John Boyega in something that's not a Star Wars. I feel like
he was a clone in Star Wars as well.
That's a great point.
Now he has to do the voice of Dolly the cloned sheep in a Pixar movie and complete a clone trilogy.
Has he ever been a natural born human in a movie? We're gonna.
I think I pray he has. Hey, but this time he was a clone drug dealer, and when he's just like, fuck it, like I was made to be a terrible person and not do anything with my life or inspire or help. So I'm just gonna go back to being me.
His mom's a radio.
Yeah, he finds out, and we see this whole exploration of finding this out and the growth, and him being like, oh, I can make a change or some shit like that, and then going to Slick Charles, and then like Slick Charles is just sitting in the motel, and it's like the parts of him still want to come out, but you can see he's like, I'm not real. And like his acting, it's like toned down, but like he's still like himself a little bit. I don't know. It was interesting to me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I love satires. I love on the nose. I love feeling if this can be real, dystopian kind of society shit. And this maybe did feel a little too real. But
also being like very outlandish
with the chicken and everybody's laughing,
and
the drink and the hair.
Teyonah Parris as Yo-Yo, the prostitute. who is the third member of Fontaine and Slick Charles and Yo-Yo, I thought actually was maybe my favorite character in the movie. I thought
the monologue she does near the beginning when she's yelling at Jamie Foxx. I'll say, can I say a hot take?
Yeah,
please.
Yes, not to be man-hating, but women are objectively better at monologues, in my opinion. I think women are better at monologues because we hold things in, and then so when you see an actress do a monologue, I feel like it's always a really incredible moment, and I think she should get a Netflix movie Oscar for that monologue.
Wow.
It's a subset of the Oscar. It's a new ceremony we're starting.
I mean, I think we should get that started. I think she would definitely be. I've seen her in the Marvels and WandaVision. And no disrespect to her at all, because she's so great and like lively in this. I did not get the same. I recognized her, but I did not get the same impression from the Marvel stuff, which I think more speaks to like.
Let her.
Well, exactly,
material,
how cookie cutter those roles are. Where it's like you have the power of beams, and it's just like, all right, like it's hard to show any person of your own personality.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying she's closer to a prostitute in real life or a clone or what. Actually, she wasn't a clone. But I did find her to be like so winning in this, and it's like, oh, cool, something where she can actually act and not be like a Marvel property.
Well, it was interesting. It was an interesting way to like. It's like they're playing these. It was like, you know, speaking on like. It almost felt like they were speaking on Hollywood and like, oh, these characters can only play caricatures or drug dealers and pimps and hoes, and it was like they are clones of the white man's like their thought of the experience. And like what they try to, you know, put into the world through all mediums, which is like why I think like white men were controlling the music industry. They always have been, you know, white men in power. And who do they give record deals to? Gangster rappers. Who do they push? Who has control of the narrative of what is played on the radio and the television? I am a person who believes that they wanted gangster rap to be in the forefront, to glorify that image for black people, and then also demonize it for white people. Like, look at these black thugs. That's all you see. Like, I kind of really believe that. So I'm like, this movie, it is satirical in a way, and I love that they have to be over the top.
Yeah.
To like put that out to kind of embed that thought into people's brains.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
When my man Kiefer Sutherland stepped out of that car, I had no idea Kiefer Sutherland was in this movie.
Same.
But you get the sense that white people are behind this. In fact, at that point in the movie, you kind of know it already. But when you don't have like a personification of like who is in charge. Now, ultimately, he's not the one in charge all the way, but he is like the main kind of. And when Kiefer Sutherland stepped out, because I was all of it, especially now in this weird political time, but as a boy, not thinking of like the larger I just loved 24, and I just loved Kiefer Sutherland just go yelling and screaming and running around. And so to see him come out as the big bad, I was just like, yes, like that is a great. We're like halfway through this movie, like here's another like great actor in a pretty small part, but just to be like the mean white guy. But like his
screen time is pretty.
It's substantive for sure.
Yeah,
and
emotion evoking.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a really bad guy. So and he pulls it off.
I don't love his character, but I love Kiefer Sutherland, and he can play mean and like cruel very well, and I feel like that's a great.
And
part.
I also love the message that the biggest enemy is the person who fucking conforms. Your own kind who conforms is truly maybe the worst enemy at the end, which is crazy that his whole plan was to like make it to where everybody is just one race, which is white people, I guess,
or some kind of like
mixed
in between. Like, I was never. That was like a funny detail. Like a lot of the people,
because it went from one color to white people. So I'm like, is it the overall goal? Because I mean, in a lot of cultures, that is the goal through generations to become lighter skinned.
Right. I could have used like one degree more explanation of like what this control state that they were doing in the Glen was really.
Yeah, but I don't think that's
was this like the pilot program for the world, or is this like happening?
Yeah, because they're putting stuff in the hair, and that's going to make your hair straight, and it's going to make you more docile.
No, he was saying that they started with black people, but his goal is to do that with all types of people. That's what he was saying. He wanted to make white people and then infiltrate the white cultures and the Asian cultures and the Hispanic cultures, and then he could make a race of people he could control the entire world and
Gotcha.
make like one race of people. I think that was his whole little monologue at the end. It was kind of muddy. It was kind of weird. But I think overall, just I don't think they maybe had the greatest explanation. They just wanted to get the story made. I don't know what his real motivation was. The black character, the black boss, the original Fontaine.
But his brother, his younger brother died.
Yeah, that was also an interesting story. It still also didn't really seem like a good motivation to betray your entire race.
It's not for me. It's not for me to speak to, but it did feel like there was like an interesting, like the self-hating, like
100%.
Like the Bill Cosby, like why are you wearing your pants low and loving sneakers 100%. So much, kind of like type of black authority figure.
So I guess like in his mindset was like, if
gangbangers killed my brother, so I'm gonna like
it was cops. My own race. A cop killed his brother. It was a cop, so that's why it really didn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, all right.
I think his motivation was like, if we're all the same race, we can't kill each other. Like we won't kill each other, type thing. There won't be violence. Which
what made perfect sense was the babysitter.
It made so much.
It made perfect sense. I have to give a shout out to Robbie Amell, who played the like quarterback character, who's like chasing him down. And
what else is he in?
I looked him up to. He was in. There's not a ton. He was in like an Amazon Prime series that I don't remember the name of.
He looks like he's in a lot of Equinox gyms.
Yeah, he's not skipping his time at the gym. But I love those like. It's hard to play like a jock character. I guess it's not hard to play it well, but like memorably. We hear that he's the quarterback, but it's not even like we see him in the quarterback jacket. Like Bella Thorne is wearing the cheerleader stuff, but just him getting like amped and psyched about like when he like blows up the basement and kills that one woman who's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
He's like, did you just blow her up? And she's like, yeah, maybe. It's like, how? It's like a firework. He's like, I'm not even mad. That's cool. Like, I just love his like, or when he's going to kill him, but then he's like, stand up to your bully first. Yeah. Like, he's just got this weird, like, masochistic kind of jock mentality that I feel like he's
like, I just came here to kill people.
Yeah.
Something I liked about his character is that like often we get like the dumb jock trope in movies, and I think sometimes that gives jocks who are kind of evil too much credit as, oh, they're just stupid. It's like, no, this is an evil, exacting pretty boy.
Yes.
And that's a real trope in real life.
Off on this.
Yes.
100%. Which was interesting, where, you know, we talked about it might have helped they clone Tyrone if he didn't have that monologue speech or their whole reasoning behind it, and we maybe had to figure that out on our own, because we got none of any of their wants in The Babysitter.
No,
they all were going to do this demonic.
We have no idea
sacrifice.
No, Bella Thorne wanted to be a journalist.
Oh, that's right. That was the only one we got was the journalist.
But that's such a fun, like, B. Samara Weaving, who is like unfortunately one of 5 people that share Margot Robbie's face. Like, so I feel like she's not as popular.
I thought I knew who she was, and I was like, oh, I don't know.
She's not as famous because she's been in some other stuff.
Also, that dude,
have you seen Ready or Not?
That dude has the same face because he's not in anything I've seen. I just looked him up.
Yeah, he's like a like young Tom Cruise looking guy. Yeah. You know, like he's got that kind of.
He's probably on an episode of television I saw. Oh, it was probably TV. It's probably
TV act. Yeah,
it was not a movie. I was looking at all his movies, and I did not know what I knew.
It's one clone of ourselves watches TV and the other clone watches movies and we don't remember.
Yeah.
Can I say something about the monologues in the Clone Tyrone? Okay, so the Kiefer Sutherland's monologue and then evil Darth boss John Boyega's monologue is that one thing I thought was interesting about both of those with the like not really a clear definition of what the plan is it was very consulting firm logic. And I'm from the DC area, so like you hear this a lot, and I feel like I have a theory that some of the most evil stuff in the world is phrased, people get away with it because it's phrased like a consulting firm project proposal. And I felt like that was all over that movie.
Yeah.
It made it even scarier.
Maybe that's what they were speaking on with that. Because I don't understand. I don't know that world. So it's like, I didn't even think about it like that. Consulting companies also are crazy to me.
Yeah.
That they make so much money.
Totally.
And they just tell companies like, and it doesn't matter if they're right or wrong.
By the
They
time
get
they're
paid
like, this
regardless.
person isn't really worth the money. We would. It's like, you didn't even technically hire me. I'm gone. Like, you don't even have time to like be, you know.
Yeah, they're like, can you make a PowerPoint to help us justify child labor?
Yeah.
That's what we're paying you to do.
Maybe that's why it was so confusing. It's like, how does does this make sense?
I like that there was obviously many versions of John Boyega, but there was the older original version. There was the various there were the various Fontaines, at least 2 that we see active, and then there's Chester, who is just like, it feels like the version of like a house slave, kind of like they have him like in a tux and he's like the driver,
and his hair is relaxed.
Yep.
He has relaxed hair, which also was just
never
just so we can
speaks. I don't
signify-
think
never
once.
talks. The Olympia Black line also kind of was like, all right, well, I don't know if that makes sense.
Well,
Where
it
he
was
just
sort
shoots
of
him.
like, why did Kiefer Sutherland give that up if John Boyega was able to use that against him in such a way? But it was just a little bit of a like. I think of those 3 monologues, you're absolutely right that Yo-Yo's is the best and the most like, because the other 2, maybe this is the problem with male monologues, is they were very forceful, but they're a little too self-important or a little too, which what the movie needs.
I
right?
mean, yes, but what I was talking about is the slick
Salesman speak.
No, the one where he like is talking about his memories. That's what really hit with me, because it was like,
That's right.
I like that line where Boyega's like, I got a brother who never existed, but I still love him, or something. I thought that was a deep.
Yeah, it was like the reflection and like, but being like, these memories feel so real, but I know they've been implanted into
1995 Player of the Year.
And the pain of realizing you never actually experienced these beautiful memories with this loved one.
Yeah.
Hard thing to reconcile. I was surprised there wasn't like a moment, which again didn't need it, but like, you know, if I found I was a clone, I'm immediately like drawing blood to see like how synthetic am I? how real does my heart beat? Do I have, you know?
Okay, before we go into these talking points, I just gotta talk about some very funny moments, I would say, in both these movies.
Please.
I mean, first of all, obviously the little race car is set up Home Alone style thing where he trips and he falls on that award.
Oh my god, that is great. This movie's not scary, but it is gory as fuck. It like lives up to the, and
it was a little comically gory.
King Batch getting blasted twice, like that's a funny thing. Or he got completely soaked and then he gets a new shirt or whatever, he got soaked again.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear something funny?
What's that?
I have a kind of older family member visiting right now. And we watched The Babysitter together.
Oh, hell yeah.
Wow.
So when the blood was gushing, I was just like, oh, no.
After these 2 girls making out in the most ridiculous way, too.
Oh, yeah. She didn't kiss King Batch. I was like, is that like a We Don't Want a White Lady kissing a black man thing? Because she went all over Bella Thorne and she kissed Max.
But also, though, I was like, why is she talking to this nerd at the beginning of the movie? I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, and everyone looks 30 except for the guy they kill.
That's
like all
true.
these teenagers are.
None of them look like
millennials.
teens.
So I think he was supposed to be like a virgin or something like that. Like,
well, he's the virgin,
and then it was a blood of the innocent.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh. That's true. I guess a virgin and then a
that whole scene was so ridiculous.
Yeah,
the spraying of the blood, and then how he shot her and the boob thing, and she wasn't dead, and the shooting of the blood.
I thought Bella Thorne had some funny like when she was like, no one's gonna want to see my tit, like her just being
and then
very upset that her
not
breast
like
is
take me to the hospital.
Yeah.
I'll motorboat him slow. I'm like, what is happening?
that was where I thought they gave him too much.
I was like, what is happening right now? This movie is fucking ridiculous. But also like nerdy in a way.
Like the cop who's just gotten a fucking fire poker stuck in his eye accidentally misfires and hits Bella Thorne in the breast. Then she's like, who does that to somebody?
And also the fact that cop did not shoot King Batch. I was just like, come on. Yeah, what? He would have shot him so quickly. This is crazy. Yeah. Or he didn't shoot the guy who just threw a fucking thing through the guy. Anyways, this movie was ridiculous. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of impressive restraint on the part of those 2 officers.
I love the plan of if I take the thing off the thing with the aerodynamic, and then the douchebag car. I was like, I honestly did not see that one coming. When he like took the car, I was like, what is happening? Is he just driving away and he drives it through the house?
Oh, yes.
Earlier, he's talking about with the knife on the car. He's talking about the aerodynamics and landing the car right. I was like, this is so stupid.
There are some funny planned payoffs, like the knife that's left in the dishwasher, and then they even give you the flashback. And then he's like,
Yeah,
I'm going
which
to
I
go
was
get
like-
it.
that
Then he
was-
opens it and it's not there. And then they just cut to a wide shot of his mom jerking off his dad and being like, is that knife still in the
Just for a
dishwasher?
joke.
Like, no,
Literally.
I
It's
moved.
just for a joke.
But that's so funny because
Exactly.
it's like they were making it stupid obvious where the knife is, and then
Yeah.
it's not there for some reason, and they give you like a weird sex gag. But yeah,
Before we go into these criteria, I gotta talk about my man Fontaine's boy with the do-rag and the fan. That dude was hilarious. He was amazing comic relief in that goddamn movie. When they're in the lair and down, he's like, "Yeah, man, we just chilling, man.
he just got his feet up on the desk. I'm underground.
I'm underground. Yeah, I'm
He's
underground right now.
yeah, I'm underground.
Oh my god.
There's literally like a race war behind him. He's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm underground.
When the elevator first opened, and he's like, "Hell yeah!" Like he's just funny, and he's like, "You got to drink water, man. All you need is a little bit of water." I'm like, "Oh my god." I love.
They're walking
Those-
around the house and like, this got nice bones.
Oh,
This would be the living room. I thought that was very funny.
it was great. I love moments.
It was a funny movie. Yeah, it
I
was
love
consistently funny.
I love the moments in a movie where it's like, oh, this writer was just like, I want to put my point. I just want to get this thought out.
Yeah.
Or like, I just want to put this funny, like the what 5 people are you going to take with you on
The
a spaceship?
intergalactic
Oh,
team.
yes.
I'm like, this is just something he does. He's like, I'm putting this in the script.
Yeah.
Like, I love those little moments where it's like I can feel the writer.
Yeah.
In the script.
Similarly, in the thing where they would do all these like they would have like these like grindhouse titles come up where it's like got my weapons
Oh.
and be like a pocket knife or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was kind of cool.
And then he's using it to cut the ropes, and you're like, oh well, yeah, there's that pocket knife you told us about. And then they just go like, there's a mirror right there. We can see you cutting it.
Yeah. It was great. Both these movies
great.
were fun. One was more fun than the other, for sure. Let's talk about these 5 talking points, these 5 criteria, the most important part of the episode.
Number 1, pop culture.
Pop culture.
Now, pop culture is like Netflix is like the biggest streamer going. So
Yeah.
I mean, like being a Netflix movie. You know,
I would say, as far as pop culture, the Babysitter was not on my radar at all. Not a single
fair
ounce.
enough. Yeah. I
It
don't,
also was an interesting time. It's 2017. It was a bad year. First full year of Trump. So it was interesting.
This movie was a rebuke to the Trump era. You didn't read the political messaging?
I don't think
Yeah.
The
anybody. There's King Batch,
Yep.
Vine star,
I-
Instagram star.
Yeah, I mean, Samara Weaving has, I think, made a little bit more of a name for herself. But now
Has
that
she?
I say that, I feel like
Name something she's in.
Well, she was okay.
Do you know Samara?
She's
Weaving?
in Ready or Not.
I
Which is a
looked up
good-
who she was because I kind of recognized her face and thought it was Margot Robbie adjacent. I had the same
Bro,
journey.
I did not look her up, but I was like, I know her, and then I was like, oh, I don't know her.
She was the first kill in Scream 6. She hasn't done so much, but she
Okay.
should work more. She's great. When she was dying at the end, pinned under the car, and she like cried, I was like, I believe her in this moment.
Yeah.
I think she sells it because, as you're absolutely right, we don't know why she's a devil worshiper. We don't know why she
Yeah.
wants to drink the blood. We don't know how she got that book. There's a lot left unsaid there.
I like that they clarified that the satanic verses were not part of like major religions. They were like, the Christians have the Bible,
Yeah.
the Jews
Yeah,
have
yeah.
the Torah. To be clear, this is different. We're not pinning the
Yeah.
Satan stuff on anybody.
Yeah.
This is just some demonic
Yeah,
text. Generic demonic text.
demon stuff.
But yeah, pop culture footprint, I wouldn't say a ton. I mean, similarly,
They clone Tyrone. In my circles, I was like super excited for this movie. to
Okay.
come out.
Yeah.
But it also literally is in my very distinct wheelhouse.
Well, can we talk about? There's a certain deadening effect that happens with some Netflix movies in the sense that like they arrive, they're here. They don't always get a ton of promotion outside Netflix. It's not like you go to a movie and you see a trailer. You could maybe look up a trailer on YouTube, or if you're on Netflix, you could see like a thumbnail for it before it arrives. But if you're not doing the work yourself, like I miss They Clone Tyrone. It's not necessarily because it's a black movie. It's because I don't use Netflix as much as I
there's
used
a
to.
lot of. I mean, there's
a ton of good stuff that I think I
ton
just
of
never
Netflix
see.
movies.
And then a month passes, it's off the front page or the main page or whatever the word. For
Also,
that.
do you remember?
And you kind of forget about it.
When they first started, I think Bright might have been the first one. It might have been around 2016.
There's a ton of promo for Bright.
2017,
yeah.
where
Yeah.
they were like, "We're putting out a movie every single month."
Yeah. Like, or
And-
then one time there were like 100 movies in a year. Yeah,
It was
they were
crazy.
a movie a
high
week.
budget.
But it was like, yeah, we're putting out a high
Yeah.
budget movie, and it was like every month it was like a different genre. They
Yeah.
did that for like 18 months or some shit like that.
Yeah, they were like, we don't want to be Warner Brothers or Paramount. We want to be movies. We want to just be like, there's a ton of movies.
Yeah, I don't think either one of these have big pop culture influence on anyone. McG going back to, I mean, I feel like if anything, pop culture influenced these movies.
How are you gonna be a white director and call yourself McG?
McG.
I'm sure it's like Irish.
Is he Irish? Yeah,
I'm sure.
No,
but
that's
McG
100%.
just.
It's allowed. It's allowed.
All right.
It's allowed. They fucking are real motherfuckers, man.
Let's go to
They revolt.
The Irish.
Yeah,
You're
man.
giving love to the Irish.
Hell yeah, man.
All right.
They if when bullshit happens, they don't fucking just take it, man.
They blow up buses and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't use a.
Which is
there are no mailboxes or garbage cans in London to this day because of the Irish.
I mean, honestly, I probably shouldn't have watched They Clone Tyrone because I feel like it is slowly radicalizing me.
Oh man.
Where I'm like, we gotta stop being pacifists, bro. We gotta stop this bullshit, bro. We gotta fight back. Anyways, I'm in a mood.
We gotta go under the convenience store.
We have to
100%.
We have to make our own society underneath the town.
Yeah. We're gonna put a Patreon paywall where I'll talk about real things.
Yeah.
You have to pay for those thoughts
on access for anybody. No.
How do these movies hold up?
How do these movies hold up? I feel like my movie held up pretty well because it came out a year ago.
2023, 2017, ultimately not that far apart.
I think for the movies that they are, they hold up. They're just silly movies.
Elyza, this can mean anything from like, this actor who's no longer or was canceled or whatever is in this movie, to like, you wouldn't have done that today. We have cell phones now or something. Did anything stick out to you? And you don't have to have an answer for this as not holding up about these movies. They're both recent, so it's going to be tough to pinpoint.
I think they both definitely hold up. I think because of the like social satire element of They Clone Tyrone, as well as the potential meme value and like clip value on like the apps and stuff. I think They Clone Tyrone could have like a cult resurgence, as could The Babysitter. But I feel like The Babysitter's like cult surgence would happen during the Vine era, where there's this novelty of having Bella Thorne and King Bach, whereas like They Clone Tyrone, like there's so much there that could just like resurface and like gain a following after the release.
Yeah, I'd say if anything doesn't hold up, but like places it maybe more firmly in the past decade, it would be the like King Bach, Bella Thorne of it.
Yeah.
100%.
But you wouldn't be terribly shocked to see them in a movie today. It just felt like that was slightly more when it was like what Netflix was doing. They're like, we're casting like who's viral, who's like, got a lot of followers. And I don't know if they still take the same approach to their movie.
mean, I don't know if they did it for every movie, but it's like, why they make so many movies? Why would they not do that for one of the movies?
Yeah, why not?
Makes sense. It's a silly, ridiculous movie. It's
My first roommate
Yeah.
when I moved out to LA, Jason Hellerman, we've had him on the podcast. He wrote a movie, which was bought and distributed by a YouTube film imprint that I don't think exists anymore. Starred Bella Thorne.
Oh, wow.
It's called Shovel Buddies. Check it out. It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I remember that being the time. It's like who's viral,
Yeah,
who has
yeah.
followers.
Well,
King Bach, sorry.
We got to get to the most important criteria. Was Jennifer Lewis in either one of these
No,
films?
you're getting all the names wrong today. Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge. Bro,
Jennifer
I'm
Coolidge,
so out of it today.
John Boyega.
Also, have been smoking a lot of
LSD
weed.
Jr.
I've been smoking a lot of weed the last couple of days. And
You might have done too much.
I might have. And I smoked a lot of weed today. I stopped. I don't know if you know. I stopped smoking weed during the day, man.
I don't think you did.
And for my performances. Well, I started because of the.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you 2 days ago. Jennifer Coolidge. So this is a freebie one. If Jennifer Coolidge is in either of our movies, we get points. Maybe we even win. But I don't think Jennifer Coolidge was in either of our movies.
And she
so
could have
it is,
easily been in
It's once again
either one of these because
Oprah.
it came out in the time when she was.
Yeah,
an
she
actor.
could have
It
definitely been in mine. I would have made her Cole's mom. I think that would have been a
Definitely.
fun Jennifer Coolidge. Or if you want to, because she sometimes
She'd be
plays
the dad.
sleazy well. She could play, I forget his neighbor girl that he has a
Dad,
crush on.
yep.
Her skeevy dad would have been a funny twist if you had her be like her boozy mom.
Yeah.
Or something,
100%.
Definitely. I also think Jennifer Coolidge's character in White Lotus might be one of the Final Form clones. Like something's a little weird.
Yo.
She's a little off.
That's why.
Yeah.
She's there to cause chaos and shoot a bunch of gay men on a boat. Who would Jennifer Coolidge be? Would now I'm thinking like Jennifer Coolidge could be the cloned white prostitute in the Glen. You know how there's
Yeah, I
always
was
the one
about, like-
white prostitute. you
Yeah,
know,
like Yo-Yo's friend with the pink
with
wig.
the wig.
Yeah, that
who's
could have been
snitching.
a
Yeah.
friend, coworker.
Coworker. I think she either was
Colleague.
working for the
I think it's
government
colleague.
or she was a clone as well.
Well, Yo-Yo wasn't because
So Yo-Yo wasn't.
the word didn't work on it.
Yeah.
The access word.
I don't know where else Jennifer Coolidge.
Black
would be.
Olympus. Black Olympus. What was it?
Olympia Black.
Olympia Black.
Yeah.
Olympia Black. Yeah, whatever that control word was.
Yeah.
If you're Kiefer Sutherland, you should never give that up.
Oh, you know what? She could have been one of the people testing on Yo-Yo's hair.
Oh. Yeah, like
That
in a
would've been-
similar
yeah.
role to her Legally Blonde role. She's just like, she does nails and hair.
Yeah.
That would have been ridiculous.
Smooth.
But unfortunately, she was not in either one of these movies.
Great wig reveal in that moment. Too.
Yeah, I know.
And they planted it earlier. They're like, we know that's a wig or something like that. And I was like, how is she not brainwashed right now?
White people don't know.
Nah, I can't tell. White people wigs, black people wigs, I can't tell. If you're wearing a wig, you've pulled the wool over my eyes.
All right, let's get into the fourth talking point.
Stats, you go first.
Stats. All right, my movie is. Oh wait, let's talk about.
Well, here's the thing about Netflix movies: is they don't have box office.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't have
So,
box
or if
office.
they do, it's irrelevant.
So let's just talk about how much it costs. This movie. Oh, it doesn't tell you.
No, I don't think. I mean, I think we could basically just go on scores.
Store. Wow, yeah, that's right. Oh,
The
man.
Babysitter has a 70% Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.4 on IMDb,
6.4.
which I'm gonna say those are both pretty right. Like this movie should not have an 8
Wait,
or a 9.
what was the audience
it's,
score?
It's sleaze. Audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is 62%.
Wow.
So less than critics.
People didn't want to have fun. Maybe people always just hate Bella Thorne or like King Botch and voted it down, voted it. I don't know. Okay, we have a 6.6 on IMDb for They Clone Tyrone.
That's lower than I would think.
I know, same, but we all know the black bias on the ratings. Surprisingly, though, not surprisingly to me, tomato meter, 95%. Popcorn meter, 82%.
Yeah, those all feel good and accurate. I feel like maybe the one thing I'd say like that could lead to some is like the intrigue and like finding out in any movie is always more fun than when you have to be like, what is the conspiracy and then you start having the questions of like, they got these operations
if
everywhere.
This is true, then what else?
And Fontaine is like the direct link to that guy, but also like Tyrone in LA looks like that. So it's like he's like anyway, you know, like. It adds questions that ultimately like weigh down the thing because now you're thinking about it too much and they don't want you to think about it. They just want you to be like enjoying it.
Yeah.
But I thought mostly it like juggled that pretty well.
Yeah, I think it did pretty well, and hopefully more people will watch it.
Final arguments.
Final arguments.
I don't really care to go first or second. What are you?
Yeah, I
what's
don't
your
really.
preference?
Elyza, we are in an interesting point of our season. We do 9 episodes in a season. And
So therefore, first to 5 is the victor. You know, you have to bet best of 9.
best of
And
9.
that's long been decided. Now, we won't mention who won,
yes.
just for the sake of not biasing further, but we will say the outcome has been decided, which doesn't make this episode irrelevant, but it does make my wanting to fight and claw and scratch your
Yes.
eyes out argument slightly less motivated.
Yes.
But also, I
Same.
enjoyed both of these movies, and I never really like having to come at your movie when I enjoyed it anyway.
Oh, you did
So
enjoy it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed your
it.
movie too.
I'll make the pitch for mine.
Okay.
I think I started it when we were first talking about these movies, or just talking about Netflix movies in general, which is I feel like there's a certain, like, disposable, disposable, kind of a throwaway quality to the Netflix, what I think of when I think of Netflix movies. They don't all apply, but when I'm thinking of it, almost in the way that Netflix wants to be enjoyed, which is sometimes as like a second screen experience. Like Netflix is like, we want to be on in the background. Here's 120 episodes of Seinfeld. Just let them run and like check in when you're not doing something. And if you're doing something, keep us running. I feel like The Babysitter is like kind of made to be that programming, but it's also like loud and interesting enough. Like it never stops. It's an hour and 25 minutes. You said, and I didn't even ask you to say this, but you said 90 minutes is like that threshold. The Babysitter was like, gotcha, we'll save you 5. And there's no fat on this movie because it's so quick and they're not wasting any time, which I think makes for that like enjoyable, like let it wash over you. But also if you are watching with something else, I think there's a lot of moments you'd be like, oh cool, let me see what's happening here. Like, cause it does like up the stakes and kind of funny, and it's kind of gory, and it's kind of interesting. So I think it's the perfect Netflix movie in the sense that it's a B movie, but I think it's well executed. I think it's well cast. I think it is. It does sort of harken back to like, oh yeah, they used to make movies like this where it was just like high concept, like elevator pitch their movies. And I think it's like perfectly executed. I would hope that everyone gets to discover it through getting it as a prompt on a podcast, or the way I did, which was like, you sit down, you have no expectations for it, and you're like, that was better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And I think that's like the ideal outcome for a Netflix movie. And it's not asking 3.5 hours of your time, The Irishman.
Yeah, nah. I did not know what to expect. I didn't have any idea what type of movie it even was. And then I saw the knife and I was like, okay. So I was watching it. In the first 20 minutes, I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, I love it because the trailer would have given away the turn. But I love that you, and maybe you as well, like watch it without knowing even the prompt. But yeah.
So I chose They Cleared Tyrone. I think, my movie is like 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
No, it's shorter than that. It's 2.
2 hours?
It's just 2.
2 flat. If it's going to be that long, I need something that can hold my attention, like The Harder They Fall or They Clone Tyrone, where I felt like the storyline was good. You know, there was a character arc and then I really was like, well, what's going to happen next? And you know, I think when you can make a movie, a satirical movie with heavy themes, and like still make it lighthearted enough, but it also is like, it's lighthearted enough because it's like it still also is very believable. I think they really pulled that off really well, and it has a lot of sci-fi elements, dystopian elements, but like you still get like a human experience in the movie as well. So I think they just really pulled off doing a really good job of. You don't see many sci-fi comedies, and if they are, they're like really fucking silly, like a Hot Tub Time Machine, and it's like, okay, well, this is easy to be like silly sci-fi type thing. It's more so just a comedy more than anything, but to be able to pull off something with like a message maybe to a certain demographic and is entertaining and funny. I think that's really hard to do. And, I don't think this movie would have gotten made without Netflix. I don't think
completely
this
agree.
would be a movie theater movie. So, and maybe I
That's
could be wrong.
Because sorry, we don't usually go, but. And I'm not even saying it to like hurt your argument, but there's a part of me that's like, this movie, I was wondering if like it was bought at a festival, like, but I don't know, like distributed by Netflix or something, which is possibly true for The Babysitter. I don't know. But,
listen, I grew up, I loved Undercover Brother. I loved like the first, whatever, like when Chris Rock becomes the first black president, like Black Dynamite is like one of my favorite movies of all time. Black Dynamite is this movie's kind of like Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite is like a 70s. It's making fun of blaxploitation movies from the 70s, which is kind of like the enemy is always the white man. Like the man is always the enemy, and they kind of do that in a funny way, but it's just like so slapstick and funny. But this like has some of that, but also is like, damn. This is really good acting and it's kind of believable. So that's why I chose this, and I think it's the best Netflix movie. Elyza, give us your thought.
We've talked too much.
We've talked way too much.
But now the floor is yours, Elyza. You can talk as much as you want, but it is your time to make the final decision. Who picked the best Netflix movie?
Yes.
Take as much time
can
as
I
you need.
give some final thoughts on
Please,
this film?
100%.
Yes. So
the floor is yours.
Listen, the Babysitter is in a lot of ways like more of what I think of like a Netflix movie, the second screen experience. I've been down this road before, a journey into young male horniness and insecurity and Satan. We've seen it. It's been done. Great second screen viewing. Very fun, very silly. But then They Clone Tyrone. I don't think it's a second screen experience because I think you have to really pay attention to like pick up on everything that's happening, and it's very engaging and very like grounded in reality, and you feel like, oh, this is a world like ours, but then insane shit starts happening, which feels very realistic, and it feels things eke in a way that feels made it almost scarier because it felt more grounded, and I think They Clone Tyrone is a movie that I will definitely tell people, like, watch it and then tell me what you think. Like, I want other people to see this and talk about it, and I think that it's the kind of thing that could really, like, again, have a resurgence on socials and, like, continue to, like, spark conversations and, like, continue to come up in conversation in a way that The Babysitter might not, unless, like, Bella Thorne and King Bach do something insanely popular or insanely controversial. So I think in terms of the best Netflix movie, in the sense of which of these two movies I think I would watch again and tell people to watch, They Clone Tyrone, by far.
Fair pick. Fair point.
Victory is sweet.
I am the Oakland Athletics of this podcast.
Is that 7-1?
That puts me at 1-7 on the season. My one win is increasingly looking like a fluke. I truly, right now, sitting here, don't remember what it was.
Oh, I know what it was, and everybody was like, "That's insane." You've Got Mail beat Boomerang.
That was insane.
Yeah.
For rom-com.
Well,
You gave an Eddie Murphy movie for rom-com.
Boomerang is an amazing movie.
No.
I haven't seen Boomerang.
Now I'm.
seen Boomerang?
But it beat You Got Mail beat it. But I want to know why it was put up against You Got Mail.
Now I'm remembering why I won, and it's
rom-com.
correct. That was not a fluke. In fact,
It's Eddie Murphy.
I should be
and
7-1.
Halle Berry.
We're not relitigating that movie, okay? This is not.
You should watch it though. It's really good. It's really funny.
Check it out and then listen to the podcast.
It's like 92, so it's like a very much a movie of its time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you for joining us and letting us joining us in the pontification of what a Netflix movie is and determining. I'm glad that we picked lesser seen Netflix movies. Like I said, it would have been.
And I am sorry. I apologize, viewers. I was off today, but here we
Hey,
go.
just on names.
I honestly didn't.
For a while, you were scrolling,
anything to
and
do.
I was like, "Oh my god, he forgot the name of his movie." Which, if I was still like in this fight, I would have tried to beat you over the head.
No, I remember the name of the movie.
But you were looking for something. I was like, what could you possibly?
The writer.
Gotcha.
Director.
Is there where can the people find you, Elyza? Is there anywhere?
So the people can find me on Instagram at possumgirl_IG. You can also find me on TikTok at possumgirl. I also perform all around LA, so keep your eye out for shows. Yeah, and you can find me on my new web show. It's called Possum for the People.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I think that's all the business we have. So
You can see us in your living room.
yeah, not at the cinema. Check us out in your living room. Goodbye.
With Babysitter in another window on your computer.
I want a babysitter like that.
I don't.